Welcome back again. Welcome to another AZ Ray video. Today, we're going to talk about a film. We're going to talk about a 90s classic, Goodfellas. Goodfellas is a classic film, man. Yeah, forget about it. Just had to. Man, I might throw some other quote unquote Italianism, Brooklyn. A lot of them are from Brooklyn. Not everybody. You got some Boston, you got some Southie, you got some Rhode Island, you got some Philly. Hey, what we going to do? What? Yeah. Okay. I'll stop being dumb. Let's talk about the film. I think the reason why this film is so powerful, not just because it talks about the famous Luthanesi heist or Luthaness heist, I think it's also because it talks about freedom. This film is based on a lot of real life characters, but it fictionalized it, to make the film more interesting. But how they're depicted is depending on how the actors wanted to portray them, right? Because it's really hard to know how these people, quote unquote, acted, right? Because a lot of people weren't there. It's not like there was like informants. There was a little bit, but not to the extent to these various intimate conversations. So a lot of people that were in the various roles like, De Niro and Pesci and various other actors like Ray Liotta, like they were able to kind of give their own stance on how they would probably feel about the situation. And most of them being from the East Coast, they probably grew up with a lot of these quote unquote mobsters and whatnot. So the reason why I think this film is alluring is that one, it was one of those first films that kind of gave you a little bit of like a slice of life, tells you a little bit about like not just about the mafia side and romanticizing the crime and the luring and them being just like these righteous Robin Hood people that protect their communities and things like that. But it also showed just like them being normal people and trying to coexist in a regular world and balancing both and trying to have a regular life, or some people on the wealthier end trying to get a little bit of that wealthy life and just what it is to kind of feel like a big shot or someone with money. And that romanticism of why people got allured into this drug world or mafia world or various different things is because they wanted money. And the allure of money attracted a lot of people and it kind of recruited people. Various characters of the film try not to get into drugs. One of the particular dons of the film was very anti-drugs. They're like, no, we import, we do other things, we do protections, we get into real estate. We're kind of more that side of it, and we know we'll ship other stuff, but drugs is where they draw the line. Other people try to make drugs a priority because they see the allure of selling weed, of selling crack, of selling cocaine, and then they see how fast it is to make money because there's a bigger market for it. And we see this contrasting of these back and forth, right? Because ultimately, the reason why we like mob movies and mafia films is because we like the idea of freedom. And these mafia characters are the perfect personification of freedom. They don't have to worry about cops. They don't have to worry about the government. They don't have to worry about anybody chasing them down. They can live up to all their dreams and all their ideals, and they can go as crazy as they want to. Why? Because they're quote unquote free. Even if it's in their local little community, they have it all under control. And they give you this idea of freedom. They try to perceive themselves, or they try to portray themselves as these likable people. They're like, hey, we're just trying to do this and that, and we just want our taste of freedom. And that becomes interesting, especially with Ray Liotta's character, right? Because we ultimately see that he always wanted to be a gangster. He was into the whole idea. But I think what the film does a good job as we see the story of the character is that without spoiling the end, in case you guys haven't seen it, is that through the beginning and the end of this film, we see that this character was just trying to get freedom and will do anything to get it. Anything to get it. And for those of you that have seen the film, you know what I mean by that he'll do anything to get his freedom. And that's the question I have for you guys, as the viewer watching this. Will you do anything for your freedom? Will you cross the line to try to get your freedom? It's tricky, right? I'm not saying that you guys would break the law, but I'm saying, hey, will you guys lie on a resume? Will you guys network and try to talk yourself up even though you're underqualified for a role? Will you dare to apply to a job that you're underqualified in, right? I don't know. What does freedom mean to you, right? Everybody has a number. Everybody has their dream house, dream environment, dream city, dream country, dream that you want to do. Or maybe you haven't even thought about it. Maybe this film can actually make you think about it. And so, yeah. So, yeah, this film was great. Joe Pesci is like the best thing about this film. I'm very happy he got an Oscar for it. He's phenomenal. Every time you see him on screen, you can't help just like look at him and then watch him. And it's weird. He has this perfect balance of being like a charming psychopath, but also being incredibly hilarious. And it actually kind of reminded me of a couple people that I knew growing up, but kind of grew up in a little bit of a rougher area. So I know some people that were allowed to have that duality of like, hey, they were crazy, but they were also funny. And depending on how they felt about you, you either saw their dark side or you saw their lighter, funnier side. So yeah, he was phenomenal. Now, as far as my rating goes for this film, what would I give this film from 1 to 10? I would have to probably give this film a strong 8 out of 10. It's very interesting. I can definitely see how this film like inspired like The Sopranos. I can definitely see how it even inspired like the continuation of like various Godfather sequels, even like Mafia video games, or even like all kinds of ideas of all kinds of Mafia films, right? You have Donnie Brasco, you even have America Gangster, which is more on the African American side of it, but it's still quote unquote arguably a Mafia movie. You have Heat, Casino, all kind of films. And so I think this was one of those films that continued to catapult the whole allure of this mafia world, of this underground world, right? This world that we don't understand, but we can somewhat relate to because there's the human ideal, right? It's the whole idea that like you want to better yourself, and some people will do it by any means necessary to try to achieve their dreams, right? So yeah, 8 out of 10, it's great. The reason why I wouldn't give it a 9 is because I think pacing wise, they could have cleaned some things up. I think the film didn't have to be as long as it was. They could have shortened it down. But my complaint is also understood because I think the reason why they made the film so long is because I think the director, Martin Scorsese, I believe the reason why Martin Scorsese made the film so long is because he wanted you to like all the characters. I think that was kind of the point. Whether it was like the various members of the family, the main characters, I think he wanted you to like them, to be like, yeah, they're mafia people. Yeah, they're criminals, but at the same time, they're just like you. So I kind of get it too. Do I think he could have cleaned it up a little more? I do think so, but I don't know. To everyone's taste is their own. And then the other thing too is that for me to give a film a 9, I think I need a little bit more emotional range. Doesn't necessarily always have to make me cry, but it either has to excel, whether it's like comedy or whether it's action or whether it's a drama. So it has to excel in one of those. And it does a good job of touching a little bit of all of them, but it doesn't hit the emotional angle. Some parts of the Joe Pesci scenes are funny. They're entertaining, but for me, they're not always funny. So that's why it's an 8. It's still a great film. But for me to give a film a 9, it has to be amazing. And for me to give a film a 10, I almost don't give any film a 10. So to me, a 10 is like a masterpiece. It's like almost like, yeah, it's a legendary, it's like almost like has to be carved into time as an art piece or some kind of masterpiece. I was going to say Mount Rushmore, but that's kind of offensive because shouldn't really be talking about Mount Rushmore since that's offensive to Sitting Bull and Crazy Horse. So let's do something else. A lot of natives were affected by that, so I don't want to show love to Mount Rushmore in that kind of way. So let's just say just carved in time, or let's switch it up. They should, like, great movies should be like a new star that gets formed in the sky. There you go. Hey, film, movie star, Walk of Fame. I think it works. So those are my thoughts on Goodfellas. Highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. It's a great film. So thanks for hanging out with me. That's another breakdown from A to Z. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And please share this video around. We're trying to grow this channel. We're on the quest of 500 subscriptions. Any additional subscription would be helpful. Appreciate you guys. Take care. And if there's anything you want me to talk about, please leave a comment below and we'll break it down. Take it easy. Take care.